Is Russia's war economy finally starting to crack? The United States has hit Moscow where it hurts the most, its energy giants. Russia's oil remains its biggest weapon and also its biggest weakness. Take a look at this next report as the latest US sanctions are testing whether Putin's economic fortress can still hold or if the cracks are finally widening.
A night lit up by fireballs. Russia's latest war machine is in full display. A wave of shade, drone and missiles rain down on Kyiv and Zaporizhzhia in one of Russia's most intense bombardments ahead of the winter. Residents scramble for shelters as air defense batteries roared for the second consecutive night across Ukraine.
Around 2 a.m., I heard Shahed accelerating. I was lying on the bed at the time, not sleeping. When it hit, everything flew out. The window blocks were blown out, I hear. Glass shattered. My mother, 88 years old, was covered with glass on the couch. The balcony collapsed. The kitchen was destroyed.
As the war shows little sign of slowdown, Washington is turning up the heat. In a sharp policy shift, US President Donald Trump has hit Russia's two biggest oil companies with sanctions. The sanctions target oil giants Rosneft and Lukoil, which account for more than 5% of global oil output. The move marks dramatic U-turn by Trump just a day after he shelved his summit with Putin in Budapest.
Well, I think that in terms of honesty, the only thing I can say is every time I speak with Vladimir, I have good conversations, and then they don't go anywhere. They just don't go anywhere.
The sanctions aim to freeze Russian assets and deal a death blow to the Putin's war chest. Russian oil and gas revenue is currently down by 21% year on year. It accounts for around 1/4 of its budget and is the most important source of revenue for Moscow. However, Moscow's main revenue source comes from taxing output, not exports, which is likely to soften the immediate impact of the sanctions on state finances. Russia has shrugged off the likely impact of the sanctions. It calls them unproductive to end war in Ukraine.
Our country has developed a strong immunity to Western restrictions and will continue to confidently develop its economic potential, including its energy potential.
According to US estimates, Russia has spent over $250 billion since the start of the war in 2022. The Kremlin has splurged on weapons, factories. It has increased its trade with China to evade Western sanctions. Over the past 3 years, the Russian economy has outperformed most forecasts. Today, Russia is world's most sanctioned nation. US, along with its European allies, has imposed over 25,000 sanctions on Russia. Now, slowly, the Russian economy is feeling the pinch, despite absorbing the blow of the sanctions and showing resilience. Moscow is staring at a deficit of around $100 billion in 2026. Experts believe Trump, frustrated with the long-drawn war, is employing his most efficient tools, sanctions and tariffs.
I mean, to a certain extent, the ball is now in Moscow court. I mean, Moscow can have two options. One, Moscow can decide to do nothing and keep the position totally unchanged, hoping that China and particularly China will bankroll Moscow by buying most of its energy. Or Moscow can decide that the pain is getting too big and then move towards some sort of a settlement.
As fighting intensifies and sanctions bite deeper, the question remains, can Moscow's war economy survive another year of Western pressure? Trump has made his most decisive move against Moscow. Can Putin outsmart his American counterpart again?